Does the Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA, and other services provide health, mental health, physical health, time off, to be basically structured for mental health, physical health today for our diaspora? What are your all's thoughts on that? What do you all think? What do you all think we need to improve? What all do we need to sustain from FMLA?
Can I jump in? Because I literally had a recent battle with FMLA. I think in most circumstances, FMLA could be beneficial. There's a lot of red tape for um accessing that in the workplace. For me, I worked for a smaller company, so that was not an option for me. So that is what led me again to I talked about this the last time I was on here. I resigned effective immediately because they kept telling me, "Oh, this isn't something you can have." So, okay, I got to do what I have to do for my mental health. So, me not being able to access FMLA, not able to access, those leave options to, take a break to get my mental health in order, it caused me to leave a full-time job. So, it's good if it works, but for a lot of us who don't have that option, I believe there should be something else to kind of fall in line. So to provide, so there's no gaps in care.
Mm. It helps me to think that there may be things on paper, but that does not mean they are accessible. For
Yes.
many of us, we would not be able to take a long time without pay, and that's what the FMLE, I'm saying it in French, FMLA does. It technically give you the time, but to access it is different. But also to be able to afford staying home is another issue that we need to look into.
And I want to
Yes.
piggyback too that I've had clients where I've had to assist them in this or even tell them, like, hey, you need time off. But them going through the proper channels and still being denied, that further creates stress and trauma when they're doing the right things. And it's still like, this is not enough, or we don't feel like this is justifiable. And then it almost kind of makes me feel as a therapist like my hands are tied. It's like, I know you need this, you need this, but there are powers above us that are determining that your mental health is not really important, especially for us. Our pain already is like not really listened to. So I definitely see the red tape and all the things that go into this resource, but it's really not a resource in a way sometimes.
Mhm.
I'll speak from the Canadian perspective because we don't have FMLA here in Canada. But what I want to say is, I think there's always a starting point that we have to jump into. And I mean, this is kind of historic, right? Just the idea of being able to recognize that there is a need, especially when you're going through therapy or when you're going through something rather difficult, to be able to remove yourself from that circumstance. And then, what you gain is a bit of psychological distance. And what you also gain is a bit of psychological safety. So I think it's a good start from my understanding of what, my very brief overview of what it is and what it offers, and a beginning point where now there's always the need to refine policies. There's always the need to see what policies are created that have blind sides or blindness with them, because they may not recognize that there are certain things that are actually disadvantages within them. So I think as we begin to talk about some of the disadvantages that this creates, or some of the blindness that is there, and not seeing certain people that need to be considered as part of this, then this is where we can potentially impact those who've made the decision about what this policy looks like in the first place. So I celebrate you for having a policy in the first place. Is it optimal? Is it the best? Well, let's move it to the next level. But I would say that you're farther ahead than we are, because we do have the opportunity to take a leave. And it is usually a paid leave under WSIB, is what we call the organization here. And then you're covered for a certain period of time under short-term, long-term, and then eventually a more permanent disability if that's what you need. So those are just my initial thoughts with a very basic understanding of the policy.